Hello and welcome to the study room. This week's post is titled Pedal of Honor or Drive Urgent. I never much cared for summer, if I'm being honest with you. It gets really hot and I've never liked the heat, and summers seem only hotter and longer than they were when I was a kid. So these days, I generally dread the return of summer. There is one tradition I do miss, though: the summer road trip. Piling everyone into the car, bags in the back, the open road between walled cities in a post apocalyptic hellscape where every mile of open road is an ambush waiting to happen, and a society that's been dead since the early 2000s. I promise I'm talking about the TV show and not reality. Let's get into Peacock. Let's get into the Peacock original series, Twisted Metal. When I first heard that they were going to do a TV adaptation of the video game I used to play on my PlayStation back when the PlayStation didn't have any numbers after the name, I wasn't sure it had legs as a narrative vehicle. It was basically a demolition derby where the cars were all crazy builds that would make Hot Wheels blush. We're talking about a clown-themed ice cream van with rocket launchers, a classic yellow checker cab that lobs Molotov cocktails, a car that's just a man suspended between two large wheels. These character designs are patently and objectively absurd. Any suggestion of a story in the games took a backseat, pardon the pun, to the chaotic, explosion-filled gameplay. It's only through the series that I learned the game was about some huge tournament someone's holding. All that didn't seem like a recipe for much of anything story-wise, but I have to commend what the writers did with the source material. They took some backgrounds from levels and some blurbs and scrolls and built a convincing post-apocalyptic United States. Around 2003, 20 years before the start of the show, the fall occurred, which brought America to its knees. The division between people becomes irrevocably and physically cemented as the country is split into those on the inside of large walled cities that are safe and those who live outside of those cities. On the outside, we're talking full on The Walking Dead minus the zombies, for the most part, pretty much. But surviving an apocalypse seems to do strange things to people, and many of them have split off into factions that are reminiscent of Mad Max or any other number of post-apocalyptic media out there. It's not a terribly original idea, I admit, but execution matters, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Goods move between cities by means of outsider couriers called milkmen who take on the dangerous task of navigating these roads to make these, quote, milk runs and deliver whatever's needed. Often these are medical supplies or ammunition or something else these roving groups of ultra-violent nutjobs are in need of, making milkmen targets for every road gang out there. Enter John Doe and Evelyn. John Doe is played by Anthony Mackie from The Hurt Locker and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And he gets the moniker because at the time of the fall, he lost his memory. So he has no recollection of the world before it became the mess it is now. Well, if that isn't just utterly relatable. 20 years out on the road, he's on his own, going on milk run after milk run, facing bandits, thieves, psychopaths, and murderers, with no one but Evelyn to rely on, is a hard life with a short life expectancy. Evelyn, as you might have guessed, is his car, and much to my delight, it's a Subaru WRX from the early 2000s, the time around which new car production would have halted, which left the production team with some serious restraints to have to work around, I imagine, and as a bit of a car nerd myself, I think they did a great job managing all that. Evelyn's been with him since day one, at least from what he can remember. Along the way, he encounters a woman who's had a run-in with the ruthless Agent Stone, played by Thomas Hayden Church from Wake Up Dead Man and Wings, a police officer from before the fall who has taken upon himself to restore law and order to the United States. As you can imagine, like anyone who touts law and order as a platform, his form of justice involves a great deal of fascism, hypocrisy, corruption, and cowardice. But he kills this woman's brother, and she's pretty damn mad about it. Quiet, as John comes to call her because of her refusal to speak to him, really wants one thing, and that's revenge. When Quiet does speak, though, she's also the incredibly talented Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Encanto, who really gets to flex those Rosa Diaz muscles while also still playing a character who gets to occasionally be silly and goofy. She's holding a lot of darkness inside, but there's a lot more to her character than just brooding. I love this casting choice. I'll watch Stephanie Beatrice in anything, and she always shines. If you haven't seen the Encanto live show on Disney Plus yet, I highly recommend it. Hearing her voice in Encanto is one thing, but watching her be Mirabelle live on stage is another. That Twisted Metal got such an S-tier talent to play alongside the MCU's new Captain America should hint at just how serious the show is about delivering quality. John also only wants one thing, and Raven, played by Neve Campbell from Scream and The Lincoln Lawyer, essentially the mayor of New San Francisco, offers it to him. You see, milkmen are essential for these walled cities to exchange goods, but every city has one immutable rule. No one from the outside is allowed in. That includes milkmen, whether they're delivering life-saving medicine or a pint of ice cream. They've got to leave it on the doorstep and get the hell out of there like a DoorDash driver running from attack dogs. So Raven offers him a deal. Go get a package from the mysterious Calypso and deliver it to her within the given time frame, and she'll not only let him in the walls, she'll give him a home. While I consider my car my spiritual home, it's not an actual home. It lacks things like bathrooms and easily accessible seating, and I have no idea where I'd put my PS5. One more delivery for a place to live, a place to build, a place where people don't shoot at you all the time. I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? There can't possibly be a catch either. She's the mayor, or technically, the chief operating officer. So yeah, with a corporate structure in politics, there's really no room for backstabbing. Too many checks and balances. Definitely nothing for John to worry about, right? So now our heroes are set upon their mission. A home for John, revenge for Quiet. And on these parallel journeys, we get to meet loads of totally outrageous characters. Sweet Tooth sticks out the most of these figures, the aforementioned clown. I don't feel particularly one way or another about clowns. I mean, if I had to say, I'm probably not a fan, but they don't upset or scare me. Unless I saw one standing in a field, that would scare me. I'm glad that trend is over. But I'd be scared of Sweet Tooth. He's utterly psychotic, a deranged killer, and frankly, his act could use some work. Sweet Tooth is played by Joe Sinoa, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, better known as wrestler Samoa Joe, and voiced by Joe Bluth himself, Will Arnett from Arrested Development and Murderville and Lego Batman, and a lot of truck commercials and Reese's commercials. He's in a lot of things now. I could go on about all the crazy cameos and supporting actors you'll see in the series, including SNL's Chloe Fineman, Brooklyn Nine-Nine's Jason Mantzoukas, Barry's Anthony Carrigan, and others. But the standouts are Stu, played by Mike Mitchell from Love and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and second season edition Mayhem, played by a relative newcomer, Sailor Bell Curta, from, and I can't believe I'm about to say this out loud, High School Musical, the series. And if I kept going about who you'll see, I'll never get to the action, because there is lots of action, and it is completely bonkers. A clown van with rocket launchers is a common sight in this show. The vehicular combat is a unique combination of traditional car chases, Ken Block-style Gymkhana freestyle driving, and pirate-like naval battles. It is so much fun to watch as the cars and bullets and bombs do whatever is going to look coolest at any given moment. Physics and anything that happens in the show only have a very loose relationship, and that's fine by me. The combat feels like a live-action cartoon. Anything can and does happen, and it's colorful and fun and absolutely wild. Bullets have a mind of their own, and they hit whatever they're going to hit based on what works for the narrative in that scene, like Westworld with cars. And it just doesn't matter, because it makes the 12-year-old me that used to jump into the Lucky and Wild arcade cabinet the second he got a chance, that still lives in a small corner of my brain where I don't constantly worry about the world, happy. It's like Hanna-Barbera's Wacky Races, but live action with lots more explosions. But what separates Twisted Metal from lesser attempts at appeasing the teenage brain is its depth. As much as it can be approached as a total turn-your-brain-off TV show, Twisted Metal isn't devoid of a story. It has a lot to say about division, about community, about needing each other. It's a surprisingly wholesome and heartfelt murder fest, and the characters are genuinely real. They're three-dimensional, they have stories that need to be told, and they're complicated. They have differing motivations that are often at odds with one another, and even at odds within themselves. And yet there are tales of cooperation and tales of redemption to be found here. But none of that weighs the series down. It gives it weight, yes, but it never gets in the way of the fun. Unlike some shows that try to inject depth by alternating between action and soap opera scenes, Twisted Metal layers the depth in as the plot moves forward, never trading fun for good storytelling. Bad can be fun. Just look at how many times I defend Too Fast, Too Furious in this blog, and I dare say, to the United Nations or any governing body if called upon. But Twisted Metal isn't just good. It's better than it has any right to be. This should be stupid. It should be bad. It should try to appeal to my basest instincts and lizard brain in the cheapest and worst way. But it doesn't. It delights the inner child while telling a grown-up story, and I love it for that. It's probably not one to watch with the kids, though. Some things can get quite bizarre in a world without order. And there's a ton of violence and gore and lots of profanity, and as such, it's rated TVMA. Again, I've not become a parent in the last few weeks, so I'm leaving the judgment calls in your capable hands. 2 seasons are currently streaming on Peacock for a total of 22 episodes that run about half an hour each, give or take. And it's officially been renewed for a 3rd season set to film this year, so no fear of hopping into the passenger seat of a car heading off a cliff. Twisted Metal may not resemble a summer vacation in the family truckster, but it's a great summer watch. Well, it's time to pull the handbrake, switch off the ignition, put it in first, never only rely on the handbrake, and close the garage. Remember the old saying, dying is easy, comedy is hard. Writing a blog is somewhere in between. If you liked what I've had to say, tell your friends. If you didn't like it, tell your enemies. Misery loves company. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next week.